I just want to talk about something quickly that I think of as incomplete contexts. Basically, it's just the fact that everybody has like a different worldview, and it's so heartbreaking. It's to me, it's just kind of a tragedy. But there's ways that this can end up being a gift. But yeah, I mean, context. Just this is this is sort of how I've been trying to explain my existence. Really, just explain everything. It's just like context. I just have a different set of context when I was brought into the world. And as I started going through the world and started living, I just had different contexts than other people. And it's just like we all just have different context and no one can understand each other. Sort of. We can kind of vaguely understand each other, but it's just I have different context than, say, a Christian, right? Regarding all things pertaining to religion. And I'm just like, hey, like I have different context. I can't make the same decision that you can. Why are you saying that I'm wrong? Like, can we not find a sort of middle ground here? Why are you trying to talk to me like this? And by the way, I need not worry about that too much. I'm here to help certain people in life. I'm here to like fulfill my purpose, but I am not here to please Christians. So that's like another that's another little thing that goes on in my mind is like I need to focus on like what's real, right? And that is not trying to please people by please. I say please, but it's just like there's people who I really want to engage in very, very almost competitive conversation with. Christians are among those groups, right? Of course, because I'm an ex-Christian, so you can kind of see why that would be. But yeah, no, I need to worry about sort of my purpose in life, prioritized over that. But yeah, that's kind of like a side rant. It's just really heartbreaking that this context problem exists because it's just like in context is also just a worldview. So it's like, hey, my worldview is correct, even though a worldview, as someone said, is basically an incomplete set of information, some incomplete context. And it's like saying, hey, my incomplete set of information is correct. Doesn't even make sense. Yeah. So in my mind, missing the bigger picture of life, people who just have limited context, who are just missing the bigger picture somehow, that's like one of the greatest tragedies of life. Because then it doesn't allow us to sort of just have empathy for the entire world. There's a quote, and it's like, we must expand our circle of compassion to encompass all living things and the whole of nature in its beauty. By the way, it's hard to communicate this. It's hard to communicate this. I just want to let you know that. I wanted to let you know that like it's kind of an act of courage to make this video. So anyway, I have sort of a little ritual that I do where I honor the idea of understanding a fuller picture. And that ritual is I go outside, I travel to a certain place far away from a city, and I just kind of like look up at the stars at night, and it's like, oh wait, there's more than just stars in less light polluted areas. There's actually the Milky Way, which, if you think about it, is the most beautiful thing that anybody's ever seen, just because it's like everything. You're just seeing like everything possible. You're seeing the most amount of stuff that any human could possibly see when you see the Milky Way, which is slowly revealed to you in a fuller picture the farther and farther away you go. So the more, I don't know, it's like the more land you cover, the more people you meet, the more people you pass by, the more you understand. Do you see how that's kind of meaningful? Do you see how that's kind of beautiful? I actually really like that. So yeah, I guess I want to quickly mention that I use the whole Milky Way analogy, and that's like my ritual that is very important to me as just a person. I use that problem, so the problem of light pollution and how it makes less stars visible in the sky. I use that. It's just like a cool little problem. It's like a problem slash ritual that I just like keep in my heart, and I just use to represent everything else. Because like I'm a person who just really kind of strangely cares about all the problems in the world, and I'm just like, why the fuck do these exist? Like I'm mainly just pissed off about them, right? So light pollution isn't the worst problem, but it's still a problem. But I just think that that's important to share, is all. So moving on. I saw a video. Oh my god. It was fucking crazy. It's like this guy who's like anti-trans, and he was defending kind of like, you don't want trans people in the bathroom and stuff, like that kind of argument. But he was defending a righteous value that he held to be true, right? At least I want to say that he was. Because, like, why the fuck would you open your mouth if you're not? I'm giving humans too much credit, am I not? I probably am. But no, like, he's probably defending some kind of value. And then what happens is, he's like at a comedy show or something. He starts, like, criticizing the person who's speaking, and then kind of like everybody just kind of like turns against him in a little bit of a way, because like, no one else is like anti-trans really. Like the speaker's like a progressive, like the comedian, he's like a progressive person, and so they kind of turn on him, and then they accuse him of something. And I've seen this before in life, and this is very strange and very tragic. And they just accuse him of, I forget exactly what it was, but they accuse him of things that are very societally shameful. They do it in like kind of a joking manner, but also just like, I've also seen this done in a non-joking manner, which is very tragic. They accused him that something relating to infertility, right? So like not being able to, oh man, do you know what I mean? I don't even need to elaborate on that. I think you understand exactly what I mean. This man was accused of something pertaining to infertility, but then he was also accused of the unthinkable. And that is thinking of children. And so even if this is comedy, right? This is like the worst part. This is worse. This is terrible. He was accused of, thinking of children in a bad way, right? Oh man. And so even though it's a joke, right? The people still kind of hate him. Like at the end of the show, he was like kind of pulled away from the crowd, like by police, because he was, I don't know, causing a little bit of a scene. But he got accused of that. Can you believe that? Yeah, we must widen our circle of compassion, I feel like. Wow. And so I know it's more complex than this, but from my perspective, it's just like this guy was righteously defending a value that he is overemphasizing. So everyone has the same value. His, in this case, was like, people shouldn't be pretending to be girls going into bathrooms, to like prey on children. And it's like, of course, like everybody shares that value. So he's defending a value. Maybe he's at like a different level of consciousness than the other people. Like I've been trying to grasp my head around that whole thing too. Is It's very tragic to imagine that different people are just fucking, they're just at different levels of consciousness. That's how it actually seems at this point in life. I don't want to accept that. I really wish that everybody can just think the same, but I don't know if that's even, I don't know, man. Maybe I'm giving humans too much credit. I'm trying to care about them too much. I'm trying to give them the benefit of the doubt, but they'll prove you wrong. It's tragic that he was defending that value and then got some big sort of accusations thrown at him. It kind of reminds me of how people oftentimes will look at someone who's a pedophile or a murderer or an evil billionaire, quote unquote, who, you know, they just look at them and they're just like, wow, look at those eyes. It's in their eyes. You ever heard that? I feel like you might have. Just someone sort of looking at someone's eyes and then using that to correlate to their behavior, like specifically after they've learned of their actual behavior. I don't know. I don't know. That doesn't seem right. It seems more so like you're just looking for things. So you know what the person has done. So you just look at them and then you're just like, oh yeah, that gives it away. But you wouldn't have known it otherwise. I find that very strange. I find the whole thing very strange. We're so divided. So this video is a rant more than anything. This causes me pain. It's almost like I have a gift of caring too much. Fucking, I know how weird that sounds. Which doesn't make sense, but that's, I guess, how it feels. I used to want to tear down, and this is kind of moving on, but I used to want to, like, essentially tear down secret societies, like, of people controlling us and perpetuating, like, degenerate ideologies onto us. And I used to want to preach to people. I even wanted to preach to people, well, we didn't come from some cosmic accident, right? That's insane. That's fucking crazy. God made us. But only I know what God says, so trust me. I guess that circles back to my problem with Christianity as an example. Yeah, I mean, it feels incomplete. So I'm trying to work towards a more complete idea of justice, a complete idea of connecting with people, which is conflicting with my desire to just kind of like use the internet to find the most aligned people who are kind of like me, who really just truly share my values. I know there's at least a couple of them out there in the world. Probably not more than 6, honestly, at this point, right? Like, you know, and they're probably very spread out. Who knows? I don't know. That it might be Americans, but you know, it just, on one hand, I just really want to just go build a great project with, you know, people who are very aligned with me, and just kind of withdraw from main society quite a bit. Not fully, but there's that. But I also just really want to speak the language of many people, essentially. I want to understand people. There's a quote, and it's like, I look at human behavior not to like cry or laugh or do any of that, but simply to understand it. Paraphrased. Simply to understand it. That's kind of where I am. There's like, I don't know, I heard of this concept of like the king archetype, who, like a just king, a ruler who can speak the language of all the people. It's kind of how I want to be, which is really hard. There's some cultures and some worldviews that I kind of like hate. And just this almost like a reflexive way Oh man, I hate it. Like I have hatred. I want to let you know, whoever's watching this could be my family, could be my friends in real life, could be strangers, right? So it's hard to make these videos, but God, it's really hard to make these videos. But I have hate for human beings, just horrible hatred. Really, it's a daily battle to get up and then care for people. Once I get going, it's kind of easy sometimes. Like maybe if I'm in a conversation with someone who's kind of good, I'm just like, oh, it's okay then. But yeah, no, it's very much a battle. It's very much a battle. So I mean, I used to say things to people. I used to try to preach a more limited worldview. I still might be doing that, but there's got to be a way out of this. There's got to be a way to connect with people. But yeah, moving on, I guess. Looking at the Milky Way, which I got to see the Milky Way pretty recently. Pretty good. I think I think that everything being an accident. So when you're looking at the Milky Way, you're just like you're in awe and you're just like, okay, what is the universe? You're just like, wait a minute, how am I seeing this right now? Like if you're like me, of course, some people just don't fucking care. Some people are just totally used to it or something, but I'm willing to bet that a lot of people would just glance at it and be like, wow, like, and then you start to actually wonder, like wonder in a beautiful sense. But when I last looked at the Milky Way, I was like, I think everything being an accident, like that whole idea of just like a cosmic accident, it's not, it's a statement that is from a limited and sort of comfortable worldview, maybe. Just like the God creation type statement. But it also doesn't mean that it's meaningless. Like, that doesn't instantly mean that it's meaningless. So if everything's an accident, that does not mean that it's meaningless. Like, I have a strong purpose that kind of guides my life, that I lean into, that I've been able to feel. This is what I want people to understand. And so, I guess to be a little bit more transparent with you, I shouldn't try to justify my life to, say, Christians, as an example. I shouldn't try to explain all this to them over and over again if they just don't want to hear me. But I really, really want to. That's why I do it. It's because that's why I care so much, is because there's a gap in our communication. And how the fuck am I supposed to collaborate with you to stop the worst problems of our time, like light pollution and child exploitation and trafficking and people not being able to control what systems they participate in, and corruption across higher level entities and organizations and governments? How the fuck are we supposed to solve these problems if we don't even speak the same language? So that's kind of why I care. It's because I have that life purpose of trying to understand problems, do something about it, and talk about it. But then there's some people who just refuse, or who just they want it to fit into their understanding, into their context. It's like a war of contexts. Do you at last understand what I'm trying to tell you? So everyone is suffering from having an incomplete context. And I feel like people have stolen my happiness, quite frankly. People are very good at that. They're very good at stealing my happiness. I feel like the earth itself rarely steals my happiness, but people, they're great at it. So nonetheless, even if I only care about being able to see that fuller picture of stars and the Milky Way and zodiacal light and air glow and these other phenomenons that occur in low light pollution environments, and see that space dust and those planets and galaxies, those things that nobody can comprehend. Even if I only care about that, it's okay. It's okay. So I'm also operating from a limited and somewhat comfortable worldview here. I think. I mean, that would make sense, right? Trying not to day after day. But I'm kind of stuck in comfort as well, which makes sense. It's a survival response in a lot of ways. You expose yourself to things over and over again, or you just find something naturally appealing and you stick with it. It makes sense. Sometimes though, I feel like I just have more awareness than some people. I think that sounds kind of selfish, but actually let's examine it critically together for a second. I feel like I have more awareness than some people. A lot of people. It's probably true, honestly, which is fine, but yeah, I mean, it just makes me feel like this, and then it just makes me feel like I'm just isolated from everybody. And it just leads to a lot of problems. That's basically all I wanted to say. So yeah, video's more of a rant than anything. I struggle with making these videos because I'm not sure if I should focus on just talking about everything that I want to talk about, sort of like this, or if I should focus on making scripted videos, longer scripted, more thought out videos, and focus on sort of just one longer video that encompasses everything and is just very thought out, very wise. But, it's going to get 0 views. It's going to get like 1 view max for like 3 minutes max, which sucks. Or I could do this. I think either way is correct. So if I were to just make that really, really long video and it only got 1 view, I would technically be correct. That would technically be okay. It would be extremely disappointing, but I'd be signing myself up for that disappointment. And the reason it would be okay is because I believe that people should have control over their technology anyways. So what I mean is, somebody who's like me, who could get something out of that video, could just search for it or something. Do you know what I mean? That's how I found a lot of videos. Not all videos. I still find videos through the algorithm, which sucks. But it's just I just imagine, if I'm going to reach someone who's kind of like me, who cares? I just let it happen. Just let it happen. It's like letting go of control if I were to focus on longer videos. But then there's the other side of it, which is, unfortunately, people, we just, if you make content online like this, especially on the platform YouTube, you have to fucking keep making videos. It's an unspoken rule. You just have to keep making videos. And so the point could be made that there's some kind of little bit of a corrupt incentive structure in our modern day where you just have to keep putting shit out, doing shit, just going a million miles per hour, doing all kinds of work and stuff, instead of just sitting down, just very calmly articulating things in the clearest possible sense, giving very clear call to actions, and just communicating with the world what you want to say, making it discoverable by uploading it on multiple platforms with every keyword you would need to use. So it just feels like two conflicting approaches. And quite honestly, it feels tragic. Like I've said a lot in this video. So yeah, that's kind of the conflict that I face on that regard. So hopefully someone watches this, but it's okay if not. Thank you for watching.